Hi, everybody. We are here live with you to talk about our board elections. I'm Suzanne Westrum. I'm CEO for the Prescott Area Association of Realtors. And I'll let the others introduce themselves. Tina?
I'm Tina Seeley. I am the current president of Prescott Area Association of Realtors.
And I'm George Beitzel, the president-elect.
So we are your team here. We want to help encourage you guys to consider applying for the board of directors and kind of dispel any misconceptions you might have and answer any of your questions. So if you do have any questions while we're going, feel free to add them to the comments below and we will get to your questions. And if it's after we've recorded, we'll make sure to follow up with you, but you can still add your comments. Okay, so we are going to dig into this right now. I'm going to start with an easy one. Tina, can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to get involved in the board of directors at PAAR?
I have a couple of reasons. I guess first and foremost, it was that I wanted to move PAAR forward to be an industry leader and to continue to have PAAR recognized as one of the best associations in the state and possibly in the nation for our size association anyways. And I just felt like I might have something to add because I had prior board experience. So.
What about you, George?
Well, kind of to piggyback on Tina, those reasons as well, but also to be involved in our own association so we can, take ourselves to the next level and be a bunch of professionals and guide us that way.
And then can you tell us, Tina, a little bit about what's it like serving on the board?
You know what? I've really enjoyed my time. I was first vice president and then president-elect. So I'm actually in my third year of serving. And I like being able to shape the direction of the association, where we're going. I like to be a voice for the membership and be in the know about the industry. Actually, that's one of the biggest benefits I found of being on the board is to be in the know, getting to talk with other people around the state and the nation, other presidents, and just hearing about what they're doing and what's happening locally, nationally, and within our state.
And George, how about you?
Well, once again, Tina just summed it up great. However, like you said, shaping, I spent 2 years on the board of directors and now doing the president-elect, and another 3-year commitment is, you get to help shape where our association's going and push it in a positive direction. And it forces you to be in the know versus anybody can have the ability to be in the know of where our industry is going and what we're doing, regionally, as well as locally and nationally. But this forces you to be in the know because you have to know what you're talking about. So
right.
That's one of the great benefits of being part of the board of directors.
Right, and it has that byproduct of helping you in your own business too. Even though you're there for the members, it has that added benefit to it.
Exactly.
And I didn't ask this the last question, but I'm curious to know if Tina and George, you talked about why you decided to get involved, but was there someone maybe that encouraged you to get involved, or maybe you were on a committee before and saw what else you could be doing? What was that like, Tina?
Let's see. I was on the MLS committee, and that was great. I'm trying to think who actually, there were a few people that had approached me a few years back and talked to me about running.
Yeah. George, was there anybody who kind of tapped you on the shoulder or what was that like for you?
No, not really. We were having a heated debate within our association 6, 7, 8 years ago, and I disagreed of where our association is going. So if I was going to talk the talk, I better walk the walk. So I joined.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's change subjects or path a little bit and talk about the role of the board members. So what are some of the things for people, I think our members generally know, we have a board of directors who makes decisions and that sort of thing, but what's it really like being a board member? What are some of the things that you do in a meeting? What are part of your responsibilities? Tina, I'll start with you.
I think, and this is where I think people are confused about exactly what the board of directors does and what our powers are. The best way I can explain it, and I know it's, one of those coined terms that you hear over and over when you go to these board of director functions or the NAR things, but it's kind of one of these things where it's at 30,000 feet. You know, we deal with things up here. We really don't get involved with the, you know, the day-to-day business of how the association runs. That's more your job, Suzanne. So, I mean, basically we provide governance for the association. We review motions from committees. We oversee the annual budget. We provide input on decisions, on strategy and directions for the association, but we really don't get involved in the day-to-day activities of, you know, what you're doing over there at the office.
Right. You're more giving input, like you said, on the strategic plan and where you want to see PAAR in 5-10 years,
Yes.
But not necessarily every tool that we might use to get there, but just what we want to be in that amount of time, which of course we as staff want to hear that so we can help you execute that and make sure our committees are going in that direction too. George, was there anything else that you can add to that? Like what are some things maybe board members do? I know Tina's kind of taking your answers, but is there anything maybe you want to add?
Well, also being involved in the community a lot more, going to, you know, broker opens and membership meetings as well, and letting everybody know what we're doing, you know, as far as our association is doing.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it, is having that visibility to our members, because you're also there to kind of hear from them what's interesting, you know, what's of interest to them or relevant in our membership. So absolutely. Okay. So now we're going to talk about application process. I think people have a lot of questions about that. Maybe they're not sure how that works. And, you know, is it a long process? Is it a short process? How hard is it to apply? So let's talk about that. So of course they're open right now. You can apply. Anyone watching, any of our members can apply for our board of directors. They're on our PAAR website, or you can certainly reach out to us at PAAR. Dan also put the link in the comment section, so you can click there. And you can learn about each position and, you know, a little description about each one, and then apply for it. And they are due 5 p.m. on August 2nd, which is next week. I can't believe it's already August. George, are you able to tell us which positions are open right now?
Yeah, the president-elect, the vice president, the treasurer-elect, property management director, commercial director, appraisal director, and also 2 director positions.
Yep. So there's lots of opportunities for our members to get involved, especially, you know, we have those specialty positions like commercial director, and then just the other director positions too. Okay, so I know I hear a lot of misconceptions, I know you do too, about the application process and serving on the board. And I think the number one thing that we all hear is people are worried they don't have enough time, which I appreciate. You know, they want to make sure they can commit properly to the position, but also maybe that's something they're too worried about and don't need to be as worried about. So Tina, what's your words of advice and wisdom to somebody who feels like they can't commit the time?
You know what? Honestly, the time commitment is small for the benefits that you get to reap from being on the board. That's my opinion. I'm also a big believer, and I know I say this at every event that we have, but I really feel like volunteering is something that we should all be doing. But the time commitment it's not huge. It's not what I was thinking when I joined. I had the impression too that we were having 3-hour board meetings and I don't have time for this, but it's really not like that. Yes, you know, as a board member or an officer, you do have to attend all the board meetings. We do ask that you do that. We have 1 a month. Some positions require travel. So if you're interested in travel, that's a great opportunity to be able to go to the National Association of Realtors conventions and a lot of the AAR functions, and some of the region things, which is really cool. If you're not interested in the travel, maybe you'd be more interested in just running for a director position, because they aren't required to do the travel. But, you know, also as president, I do ask that, you know, we try to attend, that the board members try to attend as many activities and PAAR sponsored events as possible. So,
yep.
Which we should be doing anyways, right? As realtors,
right?
We should all be doing that.
We would certainly love that, to have lots of our members attending everything, certainly. And then, you know, right before we came on, we were talking about some of these misconceptions, that being the main one. But I'm going to throw it to George, because there was another one we talked about. What's another misconception, George?
Well, a lot of people think if they're going to be on the board member, they have to be in the business for 10, 15 years. And that's really not the case. You know?
Right. We really want a diversity of members
at
that board table, right? Different experience levels and backgrounds, and what kind of clients they may work with, that sort of thing. So I'm going to run through, you kind of mentioned that as a criteria. It's not a criteria, but I'll share with everybody what the criteria are for being on the board of directors. And you can find all of this in our bylaws. Okay, so all directors, they need to be PAAR members in good standing with PAAR. And we do have 3 directors, as we mentioned, that are elected based on their specialty. So it's appraiser director, commercial director, property management director. All board members serve a 2-year term. Let's see, turn my paper over. No director can serve for more than 2 consecutive 2-year terms. So that's 4 years total. And no more than 3 realtors can be from the same real estate firm. No more than 3 realtors from the same real estate firm can serve simultaneously on the board. And those are the main criteria that are in our bylaws. So I am going to ask you guys another question. So if you do qualify and you do meet that criteria, you're welcome to apply for the board of directors. Again, the link is in the chat, and you can learn more about each of those specialty positions too, or any of the officer positions as well when you go to the application. Okay, so another misconception that we often hear, or at least I've heard it, is people feel like, they need all this experience like George mentioned, but they also feel like they need to have served as a chair of a committee, whether it was local, state, or national. They need this extra experience. So I'll go to Tina. What would you say to somebody who feels like they're just not experienced enough?
Well, I think we touched on that a little bit too with George's last response. You don't have to have a lot of experience to be on the board. I would say that there are some committees and some positions, especially the officer positions, that you might would want to have a little bit of experience. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in PAAR that you have experience. A lot of people belong to boards for, other businesses, other organizations that, and they can bring that expertise to our association. But as far as some of the committees, MLS is a tough one. They're very, very involved, probably a lot more, it seems to me, because I've been on that committee, than a lot of the other ones. So having a little bit of experience might be beneficial to that. But as far as being a board member, you really don't need a lot, because we do need, like you were saying, Suzanne, all different levels of experience to help us. We don't want, everyone that's only got 20 years plus, like myself. We want some other, newer, fresh faces. So,
and speaking of fresh faces, George, do you have anything you would add to that?
Yes, just a little bit. And that's just, once again, a desire to better ourselves. It doesn't matter what profession you're in, but you happen to be in real estate and be a realtor, and, to take, your profession to the next level. So as long as you have that willingness to do the right thing.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point, both of you, in that people don't need to have served, obviously, the criteria, don't have to have served at all yet, but even if they haven't served within the industry, I've always been so impressed at how much realtors give back to the community, and a lot of them serve on boards. And, Tina, I know you're on the school board, for example. So I know a lot of people give back in other ways. They're on boards or volunteer a lot with charities and other things in the community. So that's all great experience to help you in your leadership journey, including being on our board. So, okay. Next, let's look at the application process. Again, another thing that people, we always say, people always wait kind of to the last minute to fill things out. And I think some of that is because, they might feel like, oh, that's a lot. I need to just sit down and be ready to fill out. And while that's true, it's nothing that's too, it's all about yourself. So you know yourself really well. So, and it's just a matter of taking the time to sit down and fill that out. So Tina, what are some things people should be prepared to put on their application when they're filling it out?
Some of the things that they're going to need to state will be any leadership positions that they've held with PAAR, other local associations, any positions held at the state or national associations, and what they did in those positions. And just keep in mind that that experience is not required. It's just something that we put on there to help our association members get to know you a little bit better. So, most of us do not have NAR experience on committees. I mean, they're very hard to get onto. It takes a lot of experience. So we're not expecting that when you're running for our board. It's just some things that we ask to help us to better understand you.
Right, exactly. George, anything else?
Yeah, they also need to list other ways they've been involved in the community, as well as any elected positions they held in other organizations.
Right, right. Which again, a lot of our realtors have because they're doing a lot out in those communities. Okay, so I know candidates looking at the application, it's my first time to go through the PAAR election process, being from another association, and every association does it differently. So I've been looking at it a lot too to make sure I understand the process. And, one of the things that's on the application for the PAAR board is sharing, really getting into not just your experience levels and what you've done, but asking you to share with us what do you see as some of the challenges and opportunities that are facing PAAR, and if you have suggestions on how to address them, and explaining why you think you're a good candidate for the board. And I think that helps, again, when we go through the election process. We want to make sure that we're able to provide to our members a little bit more about you as a candidate for the election, so they can kind of see what is your vision and how you think. Okay, so like I said, I'm new to it this year and new to it at PAAR this year, and I'm eager to see everything go into action, which is going to be soon. So we said applications close August 2nd. And George, when does the election take place?
It'll be online from September 7th through the 9th.
Right, it'll be online, so it makes it easy for everyone to be able to go on and vote. It'll be handled online the same way it has in the past. So we'll be sending out instructions for that, and it'll be over a 3-day period. So we've got lots of time to vote from your house, your office, your car, wherever you like to vote online. And Tina, do we have an opportunity where members can get to know the candidates?
Yes, we're going to have a candidate forum on August 18th where members can come and meet the candidates and learn more about why they are running. And we did this virtually last year, but we're excited to do it in person this year, and details will be coming out soon.
Yes, I will say, just to get everyone excited, we're thinking of having a pizza party, so you can come by and have some food. And so we'll be getting that detail out soon, and you can come and hear some more from our candidates. And then when the vote comes out, as George said, it's going to be online for a 3-day period. You can vote for your selected candidates. And those newly elected board members, those terms start in January for 2 years. Okay, now we've talked about the election process. We've talked about why you should apply. Tina, what are some ways people who are interested in joining the board can really make themselves stand out as a candidate?
Well, there are a few things. Make sure that you're staying up to date on what's going on in the real estate industry. That's really important if you're going to be serving on the board, to kind of have an idea of, as to what's happening around. Make sure that you're getting involved in PAAR on a committee. I mean, if you're not planning on running this year and you're thinking about maybe next year, join a committee. It's a great way to get to hear and see what's going on and learn how to participate. Okay. What other ways? Committees, I've already mentioned. Reading PAAR's communications. If you're not aware, we have communications that come out from the PAAR office, and they're weekly, and they will definitely keep you up to date about all the upcoming events that we have. Start coming to those.
Yep. George, anything you would add?
Yeah, just start attending PAAR events and even finding a mentor to help you hone your leadership skills.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I think we've pretty much covered the process. Dan has posted some more information in the comments here. I encourage everyone to look at that. Or you can also send us any questions that you may have to PAAR. Give us a call, send us an email, or comment on this video, and we'll make sure to get back to you, or send us a message on Facebook even. Okay, parting words. Tina, someone comes to you, you've got a brand new or an interested person, not necessarily brand new, who comes in and wants to learn more and is saying, I think I might be interested in this. I'm still a little hesitant. What would you say to them?
Well, actually, I have a few things. Getting involved benefits everyone, not just our association, but you as an individual. And I know that George touched on that a little bit. Anytime you help others, you're also helping yourself. And we cannot excel as PAAR without a great volunteer leadership group. So, that's what we're always looking for, new, fresh faces to run for the board that have an interest in it and that want to see, PAAR grow. Not just people who always, that may have a beef with PAAR. you know, although that's how some people get started, like I think George mentioned that. I know it happened to me a little bit, but that's not the real reason why you would want to join and volunteer in an association. You need to be part of the vision. You have to believe in what we're doing for our members. I think that's the most important, and that you want to be part of that, something bigger than yourself. So that's one of the things. Mm-hmm. And I also want to point out that as realtors, we are the largest trade organization in the United States, and we're in the public eye. So, you know, each and every one of us should be volunteering and giving back in some form to our community. So what better way than doing it in the realtor community?
Yeah. And George, kind of similar question, but say you've got someone who's still a little hesitant. They still are a little worried about the responsibility and time commitments and those kinds of things. What would you say to them?
Yep, those are all true. However, you know, this is your profession, and if you're going to be a professional, you know, you want to give back to the organization that's given you a lot in return. So, you know, it's all about time management. Like Tina said before, it's really not a big time commitment. You know, once or twice a month, you're giving your time, and you know, you should be able to do that for your profession.
Yeah. And, you know, part of our role to as staff is to help you guys be efficient with things like your meetings and other things that board needs to do. So we try to make sure we've got the technology in place to, you know, we appreciate the time you give to volunteer for the board, and we try to make it as efficient and easy to use and do your role as we can. So as staff, we're always here to support members and what they need to make sure that or any committee meeting or anything they do is working well. So, you know, so I always like to point that out, that you're not on your own. You know, we're here as a team to help support you. Okay, well, I think that about wraps up as far as board applications. And again, message us, email us, call us if you have any questions, comment on this video, even if it's after it's posted and not live, we can still take your questions. I do want to wrap things up with a few announcements since I've got the attention. So we do have some upcoming events that I'll just point out for everybody, and you can find this information on our website. So Friday, July 30th, we have our PAAR membership luncheon in the 2021 affiliate fair. We've also got a great guest speaker, Trista Krasidlo, who's an attorney, to talk about cannabis and real estate. So that's certainly something relevant right now. So please come join us. We're going to have delicious lunch and all the affiliates that you'll get to visit and get to know more. Then Thursday, August 5th, we have Real Estate Revive 2021. That's online conference. The first 50 people to register get in for free. So make sure you get on there and register. And I believe it's just $19 after that. And it's all virtual, so you can attend from anywhere. As Tina and George mentioned, we do have a candidate forum coming up. That's going to be Wednesday, August 18th around midday. And we'll get that info out soon. Two more things. We've got a lot going on. So Wednesday, August 25th, our Young Professionals, which is our newest group here at 4:30, is going to be having a mixer at Founding Fathers. So please come out and join us. You can be, you know, we just ask that you be young at heart. So anyone can attend.
Yeah, the last one. I went to the last one at the porch. It's fun.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a really great.
A young professional.
Yeah, and as you can attest, it was people from all backgrounds that came, and it was a really good turnout. Yeah, that's something new that just is starting up this year, and that's a great group that's getting going, and I know they're going to be doing even more activities. So look out for that, and there's no cost to attend unless you want to buy a drink when you get there. But otherwise, there's no charge just to come. And then lastly, we obviously have a lot more things going on, but this is just for August. Saturday, August 28th. There is a Realtor Party barbecue fundraiser. And then, you know, just a couple of things to keep in mind, but in August, we should be getting our membership survey out and nominations for PAAR awards. So be on the lookout for that as well. You know, with PAAR awards, I haven't been through awards here, but, you know, you can nominate other people, but, so, you know, start thinking about who you might want to nominate and recognize for that. And, yeah, be on the lookout for that to come out soon. And then we'll have installation and awards in October. So that information will come out soon as well. I hear we're going to do a whole theme for George. That's going to be really fun. So look out for that information coming soon. That's what wraps everything up for me. And we thank everybody for watching. Thank you, Tina and George, for being here. And hopefully we'll be doing some more of these. So you guys, our members, can watch and just be more involved and up to date with what's going on. So unless you guys have anything else you want to share?
No, if you have any questions, anybody out there, any members that want to reach out to me, give me a call if they want to talk about running, and I'll tell you what I know and help with applications if you need any help with that kind of thing. And I'm sure George would be willing to do the same.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for watching and joining us today. And again, as I mentioned, reach out with any questions and anything we can help you with. So we look forward to seeing your applications for the PAAR board. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.